Tech Time Traveler, and yeah, here's something that I've pulled out of my storage. I just came across for the umpteenth time and thought, you know, I should really check this out because it's just been sitting around forever. Now, before you get worried about that 1974 TTL terminal video that you all voted for, please know I am working on it very diligently. In fact, I've just cleaned up the keyboard. Isn't that nice? Nice and almost new looking. But I've discovered a problem which may be the thing that's preventing me from powering it up. And it's these little guys right here, these little trimmer resistors. I've ordered a couple of replacements, and I'm hoping, with any luck, when I get those in, I should be able to actually turn the thing on. I've been afraid of doing that, and I really want to turn it on as the payoff for the first video. If that doesn't happen, then probably I'll just release the video as is up to the point where I tried to repair it, and then yeah, we'll just kind of take it from there. So I bought this, and you probably are fairly familiar with what it should be, just from the look of it, right? I mean, it's got Apple Computer on the back. It definitely looks like a Disk 2 casing, right? Like a Disk 2 drive. And more specifically, the Bell & Howell version of the Disk 2 drive, which is a little more coveted than the original because it's the infamous black color. And indeed, when we flip it over here, everything kind of checks out, right? It's got the Bell & Howell logo on it. It's got all the standard Apple stuff. But that is not a Disk 2 drive. So, how did I end up buying what appears to be a big 5¼ inch hard drive in a Bell & Howell Disk 2 case? How did I do that? Well, this was me being cheap. At the time that I purchased this a number of years ago, the Darth Vader black Bell & Howell Apple II was like the ultimate collector piece for Apple II collectors. They were going for insane amounts of money, and they still go for quite a bit. And the disk drives in particular, because they're even less common numerically compared to the computer, they tend to go for quite a few dollars too. Now you can run a Bell & Howell Apple II off the normal beige Disk 2 units. There's literally no difference whatsoever. But of course, when you're a collector, you kind of want it to be perfect, right? So you want the nice black color to go with your Bell & Howell. Now, at the time that I was purchasing this, collectors were really hot for the Bell & Howell machines, and the disk drives themselves were going for literally hundreds of dollars each. And me being a cheap ass, I was like, no, I'm not paying that. I can't. It's a Disk 2, it's just a different color. I'll live, you know? I have the computer, that's the main thing I'm worried about. I'm not spending $300 on an old Apple II floppy drive. It's just not happening. So I saw this come up on eBay. It was super cheap. I think it was like 30 or 40 bucks or something like that. Buy it now. And I was like, okay, I'm just gonna purchase this, and then I'll just pick up the correct disk drive mechanism for it, shove it in the front there, and there's my Bell & Howell Apple II disk drive. Now, of course, it would be missing the Bell & Howell Apple II stickers that would usually be on the front, but if you're cheap, you learn how to live with less than perfect. So that was kind of the idea. Now, I wasn't really thinking at the time that I was, you know, getting a bonus with this, which is this enormous hard drive. I figured the hard drive was probably junk anyway. You know, it's not going to be something particularly interesting. And yeah, like I said, I got busy with other projects. I purchased other more interesting things, and this ended up being on a shelf for probably about 10 years. Anyway, here it is, and we're finally going to have a look at it because I've really gotten into this whole PC archeology thing and pulling out old hard drives and, you know, hooking them up and seeing what's on them. I find that really interesting. So we're gonna pull this out, we're gonna see if it powers up, and then we're going to see if it has anything interesting on it. So obviously the first thing we're gonna do is just pull it out here, and it's not screwed in. Look at the size of this. Oh man, look at that. I mean, I know it's a standard 5¼ inch form factor, and indeed the very first PC hard drives were about this size, but I don't think they were quite this dense. Like, holy crap, that's heavy. I think there's quite a few more platters in there than the original 5 megabyte Seagate drive. And yeah, it looks like it's SCSI because we've got a 50-pin connector on the back, and these look like SCSI ID jumpers. And obviously we've got power. I don't see a manufacturer anywhere on here. It might be on the bottom. Maybe we should take this off, get it off this sled here and see what the heck's. I just don't know how it's attached exactly. It looks like it's kind of, well, let's just take it apart and see what we've got. Let's see. There's no point keeping this attached anymore, really, because eventually I will stick a disc 2 drive in there when I find one. This is just part and parcel with being cheap, folks. I'm not really sure how this comes apart, and it kind of almost looks to me like they actually drilled these holes. Alrighty, I don't see any labels or anything under there, so I'm not going to take that off. I don't want to take a chance of destroying it. But yeah, there's a model number here, so I'm just going to look that up and see what I can find out. So according to the interwebs, this is a Hewlett-Packard, or it says HP, so I'm assuming it's Hewlett-Packard, 330 megabyte SCSI hard drive, and that's based off of this model number, which is 97544-60061. I'm a little bit surprised that it doesn't actually have the HP logo or anything on it, though. I would, knowing HP, they would usually put something there. What's this say? No dumpers on this side, no. I think they mean jumpers, No jumpers this side, no. Don't do that. There's no other notes I can see. That's the front of the drive there. God, look at that thing, it's just an animal. Oh, it feels like a block of lead. You know, if mini-scribe drives were bricks, this thing is a frickin' cinder block. Holy smokes. So this label here says Bertha 10, SCSI number 1, I'm assuming that's the ID, Mac TV backup, no sys. So if we take that literally, I'm assuming this is the name of the drive, again that's the ID, and this was being used in conjunction with a Mac TV, which might explain why they hollowed out a black disc 2 case to put it in, because that would kind of go with a Mac TV. I just can't get over the size of it though. Like, I know it's 5 1/4, I know it's the standard that was used for years and years and years, but it is so, I can't even describe how heavy it is. Like, let's see how heavy it is. All right, so here's something I definitely have mixed feelings about. Let's see. There's a trick to waking it up. There we go. Okay, here we go. What does that weigh? So, 6.8 pounds. That's nearly 7 pounds of hard drive. That's nuts. Yeah, that's pretty heavy. Now, let's put that in comparison to that. This is 256 gigabytes on this one chip here versus 330 megs on 7 pounds of steel and whatever else is in there. That is, I mean, anytime you feel blasé about technology, just remember how much things have advanced since then. Just for fun, why don't we do a little math here? How many of these would it take to equal one of those? So 1 gigabyte divided by 330 roughly is 3.03. So 3.03 of these drives to every gigabyte times 256 is 775 of these drives. 775 times 6.8 pounds, that is roughly 2 tons of these hard drives. You would need 5,275 pounds of SCSI 330 megabyte glory to equal one of those. That is how immensely far we've come in terms of technology. If you were to pile all 775 of those drives on top of one another, you would have a pile approximately 193 feet tall. I mean, this isn't even a big drive. This is 256. It's not very much. Just imagine what like a 1 terabyte unit would be. So yeah, that's impressive to me. Okay, so moving to the next phase, the next thing I'm gonna do is do a power-up test. I can see it's got some tantalum capacitors there, so there is a potential for things to be shorted. So I'm gonna hook it up to one of my PCs first before we try going any further, and we'll just see if it actually turns on and does anything. Okay, so this is the setup I've got going on here. We've got my Pentium 3 do-it-all kind of machine, and I've hooked up an Adaptec 29160 64-bit SCSI controller, and that works fine in a 32-bit system as far as I can recall, because I just want to see if the drive identifies itself, if it does actually fire up. And yeah, we'll kind of take it from there. I'm thinking I might, if this works, try and use HFS Explorer to have a look around on the drive and see if anything's visible before I go tearing apart my vintage Mac equipment. I'm also going to put an additional wireless mic down here just so you can capture all the wonderful sounds. All right, so everything is connected. We're ready to fire up. Let's see what happens. Please no smoke. It's starting. Oh, listen to that glorious SCSI sound. That's fantastic. All right, so let's see what happens. So here's our SCSI controller kicking in. Is it going to detect anything? I'm not good with termination and stuff. It did see it. It did see it. Unbelievable. Well, that's a good sign. So that's actually working. I mean, it's recognized and it's spinning up. That's half the battle. Now, is there anything actually readable on there? That we're gonna have to find out. I can't believe this thing is actually working. Like, that's crazy. I don't even know, who knows when the last time it was turned on. I mean, I've had it for, I think, 10 years, so it probably, I wouldn't be surprised if it hasn't been turned on since the 1990s and it still works. It's possible it's a commercial drive that was built to commercial specifications, so that might account for the longevity. Anyway, I'm going to shut the computer down, I'm going to hook up the internal drive, and then we're going to try HFS Explorer just to see if we can actually read anything on this thing, and then we'll go from there. Okay, so here's what I've come up with in the way of a rig to actually browse this drive now that we know that it's working. Yeah, I kind of wanted to do this with a Mac TV because I happen to have one in my collection. However, I kind of stored it about 14 years ago, and this was before I was thinking paranoidically about leaky batteries, and unfortunately when I pulled it out and tried to turn it on, it wasn't turning on. And then I pulled out the board and discovered that a battery had gone absolutely nuclear in a way that I personally have not seen for a long time. So yeah, it basically ate the contact completely out on one side of the battery holder. So yeah, that's going to be a repair project, so that's not going to be working today. Then I went to another machine that I had, I think it was an LC630 or something like that. But that machine was IDE based, and I don't think it had a SCSI port on the back, so that wasn't going to work. So then I thought, okay, well, I'm just going to pull out my G4 tower because, you know, what the heck, it hasn't been used in eons, and this would be kind of the perfect thing for it. But the G4 tower, even though it has a SCSI card on the inside that I can connect the drive to, when I connect the drive to it, it will not boot. It basically just black screens. So my Mac collection is in pretty deplorable condition. Anyway, I gave up trying to figure out what was wrong with that and put it away. And I took the battery out before I did so. So hopefully the black Mac surprise that happened with the Mac TV will not happen on that machine. Yeah, I was about to kind of give up and just use HFS Explorer to look around, but then I found this Mac, which is a Power Mac 7166, which I had completely forgotten I even had. And it turned on. So anyway, I'm hoping this is gonna work and we can have a look at the contents of the drive. So yeah, I guess I will press the button. Looking good. It's not crashing. That's always a bonus. And there it is. Bertha 10, 320. That's awesome. All right, so now, can we actually read anything? 700 HD backup, no sys. All right, look at that. We got all kinds of files on here. Now, it looks like kind of dates to 1997. So yeah, that's 26 years ago. Holy smokes. But yeah, I mean, it's all right there. Got the little Calvin icon there. And yeah, I mean, it looks basically like a backup. It said no sys on it, which I assume means no system. And I don't see any system folders or anything in there, so that would be consistent with that. Well, let's just look around here. Feel like I've broken into somebody's house, but no worries. This is all just standard stuff. I think a lot of this is going to be kind of stuff you could find with most any Mac. It's an Apple order. Please locate customer file. Okay. Okay. Oh. Well, I don't know what that is, but some kind of ordering thing for Apple, I guess. I don't know. Carmen USA. Yeah, I love Carmen San Diego. That's one of my favorite games. I used to play it as a kid with the Almanac, and now as an adult I try and play it without and see how much I know. Well, let's see if it starts. I love the sound of that SCSI clunking away there. Oh, yeah, it's starting. Somewhere in Europe. Wait, I thought this was USA. Yeah, this was clearly for, I think it's a classic Mac, so it's not color. And I have no idea what's going on here. Oh no, there's color. There's no sound, which is weird. Uh-oh. Well, that probably is not working, so we'll just leave that aside. Let's see what else we got. Desktop folder, what's in there? Stuff and Expander. Man, I remember when I was first learning Mac stuff in the late 90s, when I got my first Mac, which is a Mac Plus. I was trying to figure out how to extract stuff. That was a lot of fun to mess around with. Disabled system folder. Huh. So this is a system folder, but why is it disabled? I don't know. Yeah, they've got a bunch of stuff in here. Claris works. I'm not really seeing anything too exciting in there. classic standard stuff you find in the system. Startup items, yeah, okay. Well, here's games. What do we got there? Oh yeah, a whole bunch of stuff. Bailey's Bookhouse. What the heck is that? So listen to that scuzzy work. Okay.
Here come Enmo and Houdini.
Oh wow, this is like a really bad kids cartoon. Behind in...
Go behind the doghouse, Houdini. I'm behind the doghouse. Go under the doghouse, Houdini. I'm under the doghouse.
I want one that says like, eat the cat, Houdini. All right, well, what does this do?
Go behind the doghouse, Edmo. I'm behind
Okay.
the doghouse.
I just love that classic 90s sound, 256 color graphics. It's got kind of a classic look to it. What's that
Let's
do?
make a kid's car.
Well, at least I know the sound works on this thing.
Have a happy Mother's Day.
And just think, the kid that recorded that 26 years ago is probably in their late 30s now. My brain's starting to melt. Billiards. There's a lot of software here I don't recognize. So I definitely want to keep copies of this stuff. So a lot of this appears to be for Classic Macs. Okay. Yeah, I don't know how to play billiards at all, so anyway. Yeah, I mean, clearly this drive is working, which is great. Dinosaur Adventure, what's that? Read a dinosaur storybook. Name a Saurus game. I can't resist that. Apatosaur.
Find the Apatosaurus.
That's a duckbill, Brachiosaurus, Stegosaurus. This guy?
Keep looking. This is the Tyrannosaurus.
It sounds like the old speak and spell.
Keep looking. This is the Protoceratops.
Yeah, I don't know. What else have we got? Hearts. I'm assuming that's a card game. Hot air balloon. Never heard that one. What does this do? Absolutely nothing. Start. Okay. This is just holding the mouse long enough to... okay. Kid Works 2. What's that? Oh, this looks like a happy place. Nice. Okay. What the? Did he just like stand up and try to fight? No, he's dancing. Okay. That's good to say. That's a cat. What do roller skates do? Not bloody much. Yep. It's a good thing my dog passed away. I should have gone nuts here in this. Can I use the baseball bat? No. No idea what's going on here. Sure. Catch.
Catch.
Okay. So this box you can just type.
Hello.
The speak and spell.
Only one space is allowed in the icon name.
Oh, so that's an icon.
Next time. Murder. Kill. Withdraw.
Let's move along.
Are you sure to take this icon?
These are the kind of games I definitely remember much lower tech versions of when I was a kid. There was one like around Vic 20, and you would type in a word and it would like run it around the screen and spell it out and spit it all over the place and do all this fancy stuff with it. Well, you know what we typed in there wasn't what was appropriate, but it had no filter, so it just let us do it. Yeah, there's a lot of kids games in here. Holy smokes. What story writer? Okay, this is choking really bad. Voice. Well, that doesn't seem to work. Math and logic games. No, no thanks. Got enough of that when I was a kid. Creative writer. What's in there? Okay. Wow. And I thought the paperclip guy was bad. McZ. Yeah, that's me. Okay. It doesn't let you click in the list. Next. Which of the animals is your favorite? Well, it's a T-Rex, of course. Straight to Imaginopolis, let's go. uh, 1990s graphics. Oh, I guess I gotta click on that. Yep. That looks like a building I would build. Okay. Start writing my own. No idea what I'm doing. Can I just go there? Create any documents. This is a little more laborious than Word. Okay, what can I do with this now? What the? Okay. I don't know why I find that funny, but I do. What is this? Bass clef, okay. G2. Right, okay. What in the world is going on here? Secret agent, scramble up your letters. Oh boy. Why has it got toilet sounds? What the hell kind of education program is this? Yeah, there's a lot to cover here, but I want to see other stuff. So let's stop farting and let's leave. I don't think we need to keep. Okay. Okay, you gotta click the dot. Never mind. Okay, that was whatever that was. What's this here? Stunt Copter. Stunt Copter. Okay. What am I trying to do here? Why is this helicopter flying backwards? Okay. And then, oops. Killed the horse. Okay. I have no idea what was going on there, but let's check out the factory. What's the factory? So, I have no idea what's going on here. This is easy. Okay, well these look like machines, so let's put one up there. And I guess we'll turn it on and start, I guess. Oh, I see. They want it to, oh, okay. They want it to match. Okay. There's 3 dots. Let's try that. Okay. Whoa, what the hell? Some easy. These are supposedly easy. Okay, I'm game for that. I'm assuming one of these other machines does something like that. What is this? Yeah, this must rotate. So that's like a 45. What does this one do? Line, a line, a line. Big thick line. Okay, so maybe this is like the order that they want them to be in. So maybe you want them in a certain order. We don't want it to punch dots, so I'm going to turn it off. I don't want it to turn it before it gets the stripe. No, wait, I do. Okay, so let's try this. See what happens. So I'm gonna put it in. It's gonna turn it 45 degrees. And then it's gonna do that. Nice. Okay. Well, that would keep me busy for a while. What else we got here? Ultimate Solitaire, wheel. What's wheel? No more. Ew, this doesn't look good. HyperCard, if I remember correctly, that's kind of like a PowerPoint presentation type thing. We got iOmega tools, miscellaneous applications, address book. Oh, what's in there? Is that going to open? Interesting. 96 income SCS. What the heck is going on? June J Series Max, Max to go, names of places, schools. What's that contact? This isn't going to work because this is not the actual computer this was created on, so. Okay, well, that was a tantalizing hint of sorts, but that's still not really telling us where this thing came from, what it was backing up. Quicken 4. Field assistant. What is that? Dang. No, I don't have a serial number, so that's not going to work. Okay. Darn it, I just want to know whose this was. Financial information, so I kind of don't want to mess with that. Second Mac ID, what is that? This Mac is USGS Peterson Property GA4. I think probably G44. The label was a mess and came off in the cleanup. It has 1-800 Kim drive, that's megabytes maybe, and 8 megs of RAM. I have loaded 7.1 and a few other things. Huh, is that the US Geological Survey? This just keeps getting more strange. Musical instruments, what's in there? None your business, that's what's in there. Okay. Paint. Oh, I know what paint is. Well, these are a whole bunch of paint programs. MacDraw, Super Paint, KidPix. Oh, I gotta check out KidPix. See what that is. About Paul. That's wonderful. I don't know who Skyline Tops is. This picture about Paul is larger than the current window. Holy cow. That's pretty trippy. Okay, what are the other ones? There's something that said Comet there. What is that? Something 724, 96, 8 p.m. PST, Polaris, and Comet. I guess there was a comet visible back then. I don't know. I don't see a way to zoom out here. Nope, that's... Nope. Okay. Let's not get too lost. Okay, I don't know what I did there, but what else is in here? GS monitor cable, what's that? Some documents could not be opened. Okay. Oops, KidPix crashed. Let's try it again. GS monitor cable. That looks like a pinout for, yeah, literally an Apple II GS monitor cable. That's an interesting picture. I stumbled across that. Here. ClarisWorks. Aha! Now we get some information. Adult HD Meg Up Note. What's that? Ah. Adult School Mac users. I have formatted and mounted the new drives as I think you wanted them, but I want you to be aware of the limitations of the RAM memory in the computers themselves, so that you may have some new problems that do not appear with your old drives and smaller applications. Huh. What is the deal? Who is this? Who is writing this stuff? Yeah, 320 meg Bertha drives. Okay, let's see what that says. 2.5 inches from the front. Look into the drive to see a set of pins sticking out toward the left side. The front pair of this set of pins is always shorted with a jumper on the drives. Leave it off, nothing works. I have no idea what the function is. I just call it a necessary jumper. I have now succeeded in mounting 3 Berthas, I call them, SCSI drives. And I also have identified a couple of ESDI drives, Maxter. Page 142 in the Bible. I have to remember to ask Daryl if he can use them. Like, what is this? Is it just fixing computers up and keeping notes? Yeah, no, this kind of seems to be talking about how to wire this up. The Big Bertha SCSI drive is an HP product. On page 238 in the hard drive Bible, a 9-pin version. It originally came up as a 2212A Rev C023, but that has vanished in the reformatting process. The LED from the bottom light front with the red on the outside, where the red is shorter lead on the LED. The SCSI address pins are the 3 pairs closest to the 50th pin of the SCSI cable. All right, what else have we got here? 320 meg Bertha drives. Probably should open that one first, but you know, you see adult. Let's see, 2.5 inches from the front. This looks like it's page down here. The Big Bertha SCSI drive is an HP product on page 238 in the hard drive Bible as a 9-pin version. It originally came up as a 2212A Rev C023, but that has vanished in the reformatting process. The LED on the bottom right front with the red on the outside, where the red is the shorter lead on the LED. SCSI pins, yeah, and this is all just about the configuration of the drive, and then he mentions I was successful with silver lining. I'm not really sure what that means. Another way to look at the pinout is as follows. Look at the back of the drive, power on the left toward me. Yeah, this is really interesting. I'm wondering who he's writing all this for. Like, initially I thought this computer belonged to a home user because of all the kid games and stuff on it. But then we start looking at it more deeply, and it kind of almost looks like it belonged to a school, maybe an adult, like evening school or something like that. And now we've got these notes about these 320 meg Bertha drives. I mean, we know this drive probably wasn't being used as a boot drive for a Mac. It's too big to fit into pretty much any Mac I can think of. I don't think any Macs ever had the space for, you know, a big 5¼ inch full height hard drive like that. So I think this drive was basically used for backup purposes. He basically says, I have now succeeded in mounting 3 Berthas, I call them, SCSI drives, and also have identified a couple of ESDI drives, page 142 in the Bible. So, yeah, it seems like this is some sort of IT operation where they're getting these hard drives from somewhere and I guess reconditioning them because, you know, back then it would have been worth it if it could work. And then using them for what purpose, I don't know. I shall try to remember to ask Daryl if he can use them. So there's a name. If Daryl's out there watching this, hey Daryl, maybe you can explain what's going on here. Yeah, so that's all there is on that. Let's see what else. Bailey HP tests. I don't know why it's always opening off center. Let's see, put that in the middle, put it up here. Barbara Bailey. From time to time, people have problems with printing, and I found it next to impossible to remember all the causes, all the cures, and all the tricks. But since your printer worked on my computer on the first attempt, I think it's unlikely that anything was really wrong with your printer. Now, this sounds like an IT conversation. That doesn't mean that you didn't have a problem, of course. Yeah, lots of diplomacy. That's a diplomatic I know a lot of IT guys that are not diplomatic, so he's got a little bit of skills there. He's writing her a nice letter. Maybe your cables were not firmly in place. Maybe a pin on the cable is bent or broken. I don't have your cable to look. Maybe your power supply. Maybe the chooser was not quite right. The chooser is tricky. So your printer has done all this well. I think it is in fine shape, and I trust it will work for you when you try it again. At Nail, October 23rd, 1996. So we know the name of the person that actually wrote this, which is kind of cool. Still not really sure what their occupation was, but it kind of sounds like they were some kind of IT support, help desk type thing. Let's see, what's this timesheet? January 1997. Okay, let's get up to the top. Wow, this is a long one too. Holy smokes. Timesheet. Okay. Dates are approximate dates work completed. District IMC Jody assisted in the setup of Apple Power Mac, including installation of some software and solving printing issues. SSFHS Heron Eisrich, room A Mac color monitor is dead and repairs seem to be unwise since $88 plus parts is the best price I could find for the repair. 88 bucks. That's, well, in 1996, that was a good chunk of money, I guess. A newer, larger SVGA from Songtech is a little over 200 with a 2-year warranty. Yeah, now this is definitely some kind of guy that's involved in IT or computer repair. Room 5, setup of new PCs, compact 46s with Daryl for the new semester classes. 46 and 97? Yeah, I guess that would still be a thing. I'm thinking I went up to a Pentium probably around 97, 98. Mac Plus with no raster. Yeah, see, it keeps referring to room numbers. So that's kind of got me thinking this is some kind of like internal IT person for like a school district or something. So that definitely suggests that this drive was in the hands possibly of a school district, their IT person, and basically they were recording their notes. The schools seem to have had mostly Macs and maybe we're beginning to switch to Intel. That certainly seems to jive with my memory of the late 90s. Daryl SimNote. I'd love to know who Daryl was. 256K 8 chip sims from the SE. Pretty useless for any work I do. Not useful in a parody DOS machine. Maybe Song wants them for a trade of some sort. Grad speech 95. What the heck is this? This is the 5th year that I've spoken to parents and students at the celebration of their completion of high school. And it is no easier for me now than the first time. There's so much to say. I want to leave you now with 4 guideposts that I think students should keep somewhere in the front of their minds and hearts as they go out beyond the safe and nurturing climate of Carmont High School. Okay, so this is tied to a high school somewhere, for sure. So this is like a principal's commencement speech, I guess. 1995, that was not long after I graduated. Oh, passwords. What is going on here? Passwords I have known. Teacher, used at Los Cerritos on Kid Desk. Try plural also and lowercase, etc. Farmer, pecan, nougat, crafty, proof fool, wee. Passwords and tricks. Yeah, I'm seeing like California, Oklahoma. It's really making me wonder if this is like an actual one school that this belonged to, or if this is a guy that was doing services for people kind of countrywide. Remote map, what's that? says an SCS statement, April 96. Computer repair as listed on the attached timesheet at the rate of $16.50 per hour. Holy cow. Yeah, I can't even imagine living on that much money. Like that's just a little bit above minimum wage here now. Wow. Well, there you have it. The drive works. The data's good. Lots of good software programs on there. I'll definitely archive those. I'm sure you can download them most anywhere on the internet these days, but it's more convenient for me if I want to use them with one of my Macs to just, you know, copy it onto a disk, or just hook up this hard drive to an external enclosure maybe and access them that way. But yeah, that's a little bit of time traveling back to the late 1990s. And yeah, I do think this system must have been owned by some kind of IT services shop that would explain why they're going to multiple schools and conversing with people out of state. Maybe it's some other kind of thing where maybe they were district employees, maybe they moonlighted. A lot of people did that back in the day. It's kind of hard to say, but it's really cool to just kind of, you know, take a little walk through history there, see what's there. Obviously, I didn't want to delve in too deeply. I saw a bunch of things with possibly sensitive financial details, and I mean, it has been 20-something years, but by the same token, don't want to really be handing those out to the internet. Anyway, as far as what I'm going to do with this drive, I really don't know. You know, it's one of those things where I think it might be more useful in a PC really than a Mac, because to be used with a Mac, it needs an interface to the Mac, and doing it this way is, you know, not very convenient. So I may take it and back everything up and then maybe just reformat it for PC use. You know, try throwing like Windows 98 or something on it for a challenge and see how it performs. It seems to be a nice, fully functional working drive. Anyway, that is it for this video. Thank you so much for watching, and yeah, if you like videos like this, you know, there's a little like button there. Feel free to hit that. If you don't, well, then I'll send you one of my special gifts. And yeah, if you want to support the channel further, definitely welcome you to sign up for our Patreon or pick up a cool t-shirt like this one with some custom designs that we've made. Anyway, thanks so much for watching, and we will see you in the next video, which I promise will be that 1974 terminal. I just got the resistors I was looking for in, so we're good to go there, and hopefully we'll get to see that fire up as well. And that's it. Thanks so much for watching.